I had one more thought. It's a little bit off subject, but on subject. When you're trying, because it's more family questions, like if you're trying to produce trying to produce discipline amongst your family or just a group in general, because we got different Bibles and studies, stuff like that. We talked about this before. Is there a difference between, I guess, just being empathetic and loving, or versus kind of putting your fist down? It's like, hey, yo, we gotta establish something here. So if you like, hey, yo, I need us to meet here at 8 o'clock, so we can have this discussion, and every single time it's like yeah, I'm not gonna make it, or I'm tired, or no, it's like, okay, no problem, you're tired. Then it's kind of like, okay, when do we get to a point where we just gonna establish some discipline here, where it's like it's not a tired thing, it's a discipline thing here. I didn't move today, I didn't move the time. It's just like we just need to get discipline. And this could be personal too. Like, hey, yo, I'm gonna spend time with a guy today on Tuesdays, and then you say, I'm a little tired on Tuesdays. I'm gonna do Wednesdays, and then Wednesdays turn to Thursdays, and then I'm gonna do this. I guess when we I guess I'm just thinking about that balance between ayo empathetic and loving versus ayo we just need to get more discipline.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. I mean, I can speak to a little bit. I don't necessarily, not married on children, so I can just, give my perspective. I have lived with family though, um, and I can say that how we live in the household um, is going to be a testimony. So simply how we live,
Mm-hmm.
in the household as we're walking with the Lord, and as we're learning from Him, and as God is changing us. If we are, genuinely, sincere and are, um, uh, seeking Him and cultivating that relationship, there's going to be change and transformation, and how we live in the household is going to be a testimony. Um, it's going to be a testimony to our family and who we live with. Um, I I will say I don't believe it's the Lord's way to like force people
Mm-hmm.
to do things. Um, but I think if people in the household are seeing the joy and the peace and the love that God has put in your heart and His presence, that it is attractive. You know what I mean? And I think that's you share testimonies of others, people just kind of coming to you, asking for question because they've seen the work of God, what He's done, in you. I think God will definitely give us wisdom on how to do that in the family. But I just want to share that how we live as a believer in a household um, is going to be is a testimony. And personally, I can say that there are times to, I'll say minister or just kind of, um, I'll say minister, that just happens organically throughout the day, in a household, through a conversation. There could be times to um, just minister through the lifestyle, through God, living and working in you. Um, and maybe you get to a point sometime where it's like, hey, I want to, I'm interested in knowing, the God that Dante serves more, maybe the family starts coming to you and saying, hey, can you teach me this, or can we have a Bible study, or starts to ask you questions, and it opens itself up um, to you sharing, and folks learning and growing together. So that's
I,
my 2 cents.
I think, yeah, I got to answer that. Thanks, Zane. I think that's some great, thoughtful things. I'm just looking, reflecting on some of our experiences and my experiences in the past and how that looked. I think it's good to speak with the old heads, the knowledgeable ones. I think within our environment back at home, I thought folks did a good job at, especially sometimes fostering an environment that was enjoyable and very interactive, where it's like, yo, you take part. You know, you got some responsibility in this. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
in terms of preparing or reading or whatever it is, and I found that interesting.
I was gonna ask y'all all, is just like, so do you feel like your parents forced you into some relationships with God or Bible study, or do you feel like they cultivated that environment just by, being spirit led, that, it's like, at the very least you pique my interest to sit here with you and read scripture even when I want to go play or do something completely different.
I hear you. So I think we learn and we grow and we take from whatever understanding and teaching that we've learned and we kind of build from that.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that were impactful to me was my father's testimony that he shared about experience he had with the Lord when he was younger, um, as well as just letting us know about the name Jesus, and letting us know that there's someone named Jesus, and that He died for us. So just having that understanding was helpful. I know for me, because when I started being intentional, yeah, I mean, even with me, years later, starting to be intentional in my relationship with God. I mean, that was inspired by the seed planted that Christ and God is real. You know what I mean? And you can have a relationship with both of them. So um, yeah, so that was helpful for me. But I hear what you're saying, Don. Saying I think as far as hey, did at times did it seem like you were kind of forced to do this and to do that, and um, I mean, possibly, maybe. And that's kind of why when I was sharing with you,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like I was like saying, like, look, it's not God's way to force us, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But through your life, through you walking with the Lord, and individuals seeing the fruit of your walk with the Lord, and your joy, and your love, and your peace in the presence that God, is given to you, it's attractive. So people now is like, wow, I want to. You know, I want to receive, the peace and the joy that Dante has. You know what I mean? I want to know, um, this God that God that Dante knows. You know,
Yeah, so
so
yeah, I see it like by seeing like the discipline and submission and the relationship that your dad and mom had with God, I'm sure it trickled down to you guys as far as, discipline. And then as you grew and you saw God for yourself, now you're creating your own level of submission and discipline in your lifestyle currently as you grow. And I feel like there's a thing of, reading the room too, of, and then understanding your audience. Because like, for example, if like I'm laughing at Charles, I know Charles is like a gospel nerd, and it's just like, hey, we can get into the itty, you talk about getting into the roots, we can get into the core, the earth's core of these things. And somebody else will be like, hey, yo, man, I just wanted to, read the Bible. I need the Hebrew and this and this. But I think understanding your audience too, and I think your general excitement over time, could lead them
Yeah.
to that. But I think you can start off by understanding your audience too, of everybody being at different places, and catering towards those as well.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that, Dante, because sometimes you gotta have self-control with how
Mm,
you deliver the gospel, I think. Because it's
mm,
like sometimes I can, to your point, you can get so passionate about something and just dump all, a bunch of stuff on somebody and they
mm,
just not ready.
mm,
Like they're like, I don't, it's like you gotta kind of rein yourself in,
mm.
with how you share the gospel. Um, I think that's self-control right there.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
to something that could seem like it's a good thing, but wisdom might teach that, hey, yeah, it's good, the message is good, but the delivery has to be good too.
And
Or I'll say the delivery has to be appropriate.
yep.